Hey readers, welcome back to our channel Unboxing Perspectives. I am Kanika and I am here again with new recommendations in my favorite genre, that is the fantasy genre. So in case you are looking for some fantasy world, for some reader likes, and you are looking for something like Harry Potter, then you are at the right place, and we are here today to recommend you the fantasy lands and the fantasy books that you can go with in case you are looking for something enthralling and a wonderful experience and a long series range. So before going on with the video, I would like to request you to please click on the subscribe button as well as the bell icon so that you are notified with every new book that we are reading and every new art form that we are exploring. So starting with the video, if we talk about the fantasy land, what it actually is. So all the recommendations that I'm going to make today are a series of books, right? They are a book series where you will have 3 to 4 books and they will tell you about an entirely different world. So what I prefer to call these is a trip to the fantasy land where you will know new characters, you will know new rules, you will know new languages, and you will have a lot to wonder about, right? So we will start with the most known and most popular fantasy series, that is the Harry Potter. So I am a Potterhead and I just love this series. It is such a wonderful series that if you have not yet read it, then you should surely go for it. Even if you are an adult, even if you are a kid, you should surely go for it, right? So what is actually in that series? The Harry Potter series revolves around a kid whose journey starts with from the age of 11 and goes up to age of 17, and then they show him as an adult. But what the story revolves around is the virtues of friendship, the virtues of love, and how your friendship can help you win the entire battles in the world, whether they are within you, whether they are outside you, and how it is the most important thing in your life. So that is the basic theme of the book and how they develop the story. So this book, the Harry Potter series, is written by J.K. Rowling, and she builds up the world from the very scratch, and their world will start with school, that is the Hogwarts, and you are a magical kid who will receive a letter from that school and you will get the admission in that school, and then the story starts. There are a lot of spells to learn, there is a lot of magic to do, there are the stories, there is a villain Voldemort and they will try to take over the school, they will try to kill the students, and there are all the thrills involved. So the most important thing that we love about this world is the magic involved and the way the kids struggle but they come out successfully. So this book will attract the students from age group of 11 to even age group of 30, and there are so many factors to know about this world. There's so many new creatures formed in this world that they are a wonderful book to go to. So in case you have not yet read this book, this is the first recommendation in this particular series, and this is the book that you should purchase for the first thing after this video and read them all. There are 7 parts and the 7 parts will progress for 1 year gap each. It will start from the person, that is Harry Potter, being 11 years old, and it will move to his 17 years old. His mother and father and his family is killed by Lord Voldemort in the Wizarding War, and then the story starts where he is the person who kills the villain, who decapacitated the villain, and now the villain is trying to get back in his form, and he is trying to get his powers back. So that is the story where it revolves around in a few words. But in case you ask me to go on Harry Potter, I will go on and go on and go on. So I will make another video for the complete Harry Potter discussion. In case you want that, please mention it in the comment section below. There are a few books that were given out as the prequels as well as the sequels of this book, though not written by J.K. Rowling herself, but they connect to this world. So there is a sequel to this, that is the Cursed Child, and that is the story of children of Harry Potter and the main leads and the Golden Trio. So that is the story that you can go after the main book, that is the Harry Potter. The Cursed Child is in play form and not in a novel novel form, and that is not that appreciated by people, and it is not that binding as the original book series. But yes, you can have a reference, of course. So the Cursed Child is the sequel for this book, and then there is a prequel, The Fantastic Beast, and you will also find the movies for all these three. And the Cursed Child is still in the production, it is not yet out, but the Fantastic Beast as well as Harry Potter series are already out in movies. Yeah, not that entertaining as the books, but yes, they are good, they are executed beautifully, and the magical world is really shown nice. So then moving on to the second book recommendation that we have is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. So the Lord of the Rings series is a wonderful series, and it is the oldest book. It is mostly known as the oldest book in this genre. This book is filled of so many words, and it is such a beautifully written book that it will capture you. So what exactly is in Lord of the Rings? The Lord of the Rings includes 7 different worlds. That is, there is a world of dwarfs, there is a world of human beings, there is a world of supernatural beings. Those are like gods, they are like so beautiful and they are eternals. Then there is a world of different creatures, there is a hobbit world, there is a witch world. So there are so many worlds in this particular book. They come together, they entangle in the story. But what the main storyline is about, it is all about the power, whether it is positive or a negative power. So this book is about capturing a ring which can make you immortal, which can give you supreme powers, but later on what the people are trying in this story is to return it so that it is not misused, right? So the story moves around these magical worlds, these 7 magical worlds, and they will take you along with them. More importantly, what was in it is he developed, J.R.R. Tolkien developed his own language, and that is known as the Elvish language. And there is a different sort of thrill in reading these books. There is a different language, there are different rules for each and every world, there is a different characteristic, there is a different speciality of each and every world, which is explained so nicely that it feels that you are actually there in their world. So this is an amazing book series, and if you are going for the fantasy land, I guess you need to buy this sure. And there is a prequel for this series as well, that is The Hobbit, and that is also based on the same criteria but focused on one world, that is the Hobbit world, where they will tell you about what are the characteristics of this particular person, this particular race, and how they grow, how they fight their fears, and this is what is there in that book. So again, all these books are converted into movies, and the Hobbit as well as the Lord of the Rings is there. The Lord of the Rings was nominated for Oscars, as we all know, and this is a wonderful book series to go to. So in the fantasy world, if we are talking about, Harry Potter is something which will have a simpler language, which will make you involved in their world, and they will capture your interest because of the simplicity in it and the way they present the things. But when we are going for the Lord of the Rings, the language is somewhat difficult, so it will take you time to go into it, but once you dive, then there is no way of coming out, right? So if you are just a beginner, go with Harry Potter and then go with Lord of the Rings, and if you have already read Harry Potter, you can surely go for Lord of the Rings. So the next book that I would recommend in this series would be The Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. So does this sound as a new name? Now it will not. The first book in this series is The Game of Thrones. Yes, now we are familiar with this word and we are familiar with this world as well. So what is actually going on in this is the Game of Thrones, that is the throne and who is going to sit on it. There are different worlds, there are the different parts of our human society, as well as there are the others who are quite unknown to the people and what they actually do. So these are the different portions that are covered in it, but these books are still in writing, and George R.R. Martin is still writing the end. So if you are starting with this book, you have to wait for the last novel to come out, but still this book is quite an interesting book, and there is a series of 4 novels that are already out in this particular series, and they are more sinister and they are more extreme than what was shown in the series and the television series that you saw. And the characters are well explained. The characters were cut down in the series, of course, but yeah, these books are more sinister, these books are more extreme and capturing when we go for these books. And yet again, the thing is these books are not yet complete, so you need to wait for the entire series to come out. So you can go with these books as well if you are into the throne, the politics, the murders, as well as you're comfortable with the sinister characters. So what makes it more interesting is that the characters are quite wild and they are much different than the two series that we have already recommended, right? So this is the difference between these and the other series. Then moving on to the fourth recommendation is the Narnia, The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Now this book is specifically for kids and the children and the young adults that we can go for. The age rating that I would like to give for this book would be for the kids, for that they can start from 11 years of age to 20 years of age, and the young adults up to 25. They can go for this book. Now this book again consists of 7 books, and the story starts with seed which goes into tree, then the tree is cut into wardrobe, and then there is a different world behind that wardrobe, and you will find the snow-clad mountains, you will find different creatures which are half human, half animal, and you will find a queen, and there is a talking lion. Then there are 4 kids, they will go into it and they will fight for their rights, they will fight for the rights of jungle, they will fight for the rights of the people in that area, and then there is guidance, there is learnings, and there are wonderful things going around. So you will find it quite entertaining, and the world is built out beautifully. Yeah, there is again a movie series for it, but yes, there are only few parts covered in that movie series. So if you go for this book series, you will find an entirely new concept, you will find an entirely new story, and again this will keep you hooked till the 7th book. So in case you are a young reader and you want your relatives or your kids to read this book, you can go for it. This is a wonderful story, easy to understand, and the building of fantasy world is so beautiful that I would recommend the Chronicles of Narnia to almost everyone. Then moving further, for the 5th recommendation, I have the Percy Jackson series. The Percy Jackson series is quite new. It was written by Rick Riordan in 2005. Now Rick Riordan was dictating these stories to his son, and his son wanted to have some different kind of stories rather than the old mythological or the old stories. So he created his own stories based upon the Greek mythology, and that's where these fantasy series started. So these fantasy series are based on the Greek mythology, and they are revolving around the life of the demigods, that is the kids of gods and the humans, those who are living on earth, and how they live and how they participate in the wars between the lords and between the circumstances, how they are stuck into it. So this is what this series revolve around. So there are 5 books that are already published in this series, and they are still writing. He might still be giving you out some other fantasies and some other books, but again this particular series is based on 20th century. That is, you will find your iPhones, you will find your iPods, you will find the songs, you will find the music, and they are in the situations and in the scenarios are quite familiar with us, like the New York City, and the areas that they are visiting are something that we are already into. So this thing is quite close to us, and you might be able to relate to them, and as well as you will also find them entertaining because of the different rules that are following and the different creatures that they are creating. So in case you are interested in mythology, in Greek mythology, and you can connect it to it, this is a wonderful series to go to. Then moving on to the next series is The Name of the Wind. Now this is quite a different book, and there are controversial opinions about it. Some people just love it and some just cannot connect to it. So in this book, what the story is about, it is about an orphan. Again, most of the fantasies are around the orphan. I don't know what is the thing, but in this, most of the stories stories are around the orphans. So now this is also again around the orphan. He is a wonderful person. He is a magician. And this is a story which will take you in the mind of a wizard. So again, quite similar to the plot of Harry Potter, but again here is the wizarding world, and how he is saved by the forces of nature, how he is protected by them, and what is the prophecy which is involved in. So this is the recommendation that I will have, The Name in the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and this is the story that goes around. So the next book that you can go in fantasy genre is The Hunger Games. Now The Hunger Games is again a series of 4 books, and it revolves around the story of a land where you are not free to move around, you are not free to live, and there are games which leads to death of the people, death of the participants, and then there is a terror among the people regarding those games. So there is a state, there is a person who is a president who is ruling around the states, and there are the provinces from where they pick up the participants. So this is not exactly the fantasy land, it is from among us, but the area, the land that is created is quite different. There are the rules that they follow, and it is mostly a game series, and they will face the challenges, they will come out of it if they are trimmed. So this is the story of Province 13 and the participant Kathleen, who is there and who tries to turn the tables, who tries to overthrow the president, and then finally she wins out for her people. So that is how it builds up. But the important thing in this particular book is the character building. The character building is so strong, and each and every character is shown so wonderfully that you will surely enjoy the games, and you will surely enjoy the way they build up the books. So these were the recommendations by me when we go for the fantasy genre, and the favorite one is Harry Potter, of course. Then you can go for J.R.R. Tolkien, and then we have George R.R. Martin. So these are the 3 most favorite books in all these series that I can tell you. And if you have already read some of these, do mention in the comment section. I would love to know whether you like them or not. In case you have not yet ordered, do go and order them and do enjoy them. So this was all from my side. I will meet you in the next video. Till then, happy reading.